Hello, hello, I am Ringru.
And I'm Graham.
Here today with another 1v1 from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord Elite Tournament, one of the matches from the finals. And who do we have playing today, Mr. Graham, on
Next,
this mud fight?
we have two regulars of the channel ring. So on the left here, we have General Boulanger once again. He's playing as Baltic Front General. And then on the right, it's the Field Marshal himself, Nick the Man, playing as USSR General.
Indeed, and right off the bat, both sides going pretty standard opener, heavy down south. Both have mortars, fire and array, and yeah, a little bit of early so-called play from Mr. Boulanger.
Yeah, he's got him out there early in case maybe like a VDV or some type of helo timing towards the middle. That's obviously not happening because Nick decided to open up with two BUs. He does have some BTR 90 with Spetsnaz trying to push that town there with the smoke. And there's a Saria called out already by Boulanger. I'm trying to see what's he's spotted right there. Missiles out and away. Oh, he took the Osa, but the Tor in the back line opens up one hit there. Let's see if we can get the second. It does. Saria immediately going down.
That's a pretty good kill, yeah. It's not a terrible trade losing the Osa 2 right off the bat, because it is... Oh no, it's the more, like...
It's a 30-point Osa, yeah.
One, yeah, so you can definitely afford to lose that easy peasy style. But we are seeing Boulanger manage to get into the village first, up the so-called getting blapped by the Tor, but Nick is opening up with two T-72 BUs right off the bat.
Yeah, it's a lot of firepower concentrated into two tanks. It's, heavy tank meta to the max here. We show the Spetsnaz and the Motostrelki pretty much get annihilated between the Sokol and the Yakari 90. So Nick's kind of backing off there a little bit, though. He's dropping a bunch of smoke. I think he's going to try and get those the sappers there into that town ring.
Yeah, he really needs to get some troops into the otherwise he's just going to be
Mod
stuck
1
out in
pushes
the
up.
open. Oh!
Mod 1 pushes up and engages and only does 2 HP of damage to that BU there, but the BU's both getting hits in, bringing it down to half health already.
We've seen Yerrigan, I believe, yeah, just completely blap, as well as a bunch of mortar fire as well. So, yeah, this is pretty standard, like USSR, bringing in all the heavy, expensive weaponry, but Nick just doesn't really have that much. Well, he doesn't have that much map presence, but honestly, same thing with Boulanger.
Both real quick, Boulanger called out his own Urigan. So both of them dropping Urigans on each other. Right? It's like Ukraine right here. As you can see him just trading this MLRS fire. The BU's back up so they don't get really any damage there. And honestly, Boulanger's Urigan didn't do too much. And it didn't really even stun the sappers.
No, and the sappers are slowly but surely burning their way through the town.
Yeah.
So that could definitely give him the position, because once you secure that town, then he can more freely move up his T-72s, use it as cover. And yeah, I think it's going to be, of course, very critical how he uses those two T-72s. The last replay we saw, where the person brought in two Leclercs off the bat, didn't really do that much damage, so hopefully Nick can learn from that lesson, or I don't think he was one playing, and use his T-72s a bit more effectively.
Try and gain some leverage here in the middle, which he kind of is. There is a spike team not too far past him here, but he's being really aggressive with these BUs. Yeah, they're pushing up right away, trying to get some shots to the Akari 90 because they were able to kill the sappers outside of the building, which is a nice little pickup there for Boulanger because it allows him to retain that town, which is really so vital in most of these mud fight maps or engagements. Excuse me.
Yeah, just trying to secure out village. And of course, the Soviets are a little bit of a disadvantage, especially compared to Finpol, as you just don't have that good infantry compared to division. But we are just seeing, really just, like skirmishing back and forth. Boulanger's really going to need some heavy anti-tank to deal with the BU. You're losing the SU-22 right off the bat. And definitely was not ideal, because that would be a perfect T-72 buster.
Yeah, absolutely. The Salamandra, could get some damage into it, but with smoke up there and a Tor kind of hanging out in the back line as well, it's, that's really not, I don't see that getting much done there. He does have spikes, which are an amazing anti-tank. Oh, as I said that right there, just got blapped out of the sky. So he does have stuff that could, do damage to the BUs, but obviously the BU is one of the best tanks in the game for a reason, and Nick's kind of like on the warpath right now.
Yeah. And he's got the Spetsnaz coming in to finish off the Akaris, which are very much unsupported.
Yeah.
And yeah, Boulanger, he only has that M1 mod. He's bringing in another M1 mod. And those things, of course, actually do slap quite a bit in terms of anti-tank firepower. But their armor value is not as great per se. It's only one less. Not
It's
too
one
bad.
less, right? But I think in like when you take two top tier tanks, you put them together, those numbers actually kind of start to matter a lot. And so the BU having the one extra frontal armor, plus it does have its ATGMs, its sphere rocket, its missiles, so it can actually do some pretty good damage.
Oh, he's rushing.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
is,
god. Oh
and that was a
my
crazy. Yeah, that
god.
was insane. Both BUs just instantly die right there. The Apila shots, M1 mod pushing up. The Sari was called out for good measure, but and what was I don't even know if that was anticlimactic or the climax of the game. That was insane right there. Both BUs just instantly going down.
Holy fuck. How to lose over 300 points in 5 seconds?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah, that was a
Really
massive
bad.
trade right there. And now there's two M1 mods on the field here by Boulanger, and there's nothing to contest them. Nick immediately calling out a T80UM in response, but that is a really bad trade right there for Nick the Man, and you want to see Boulanger try to immediately capitalize on that exchange.
Yeah, Nick really needs to lock down that town now with infantry. He's bringing in some ATGM troops as well to try to hold a position. Actually bringing it off in the scratch edge, which is quite interesting. Does increase the price quite a bit for those ATGMs. We've seen Arrogant strike from Boulanger to try and just stun up, but also a counter battery strike
Oh, and
from Nick the
yeah,
Man.
Nick trying to counter batter him. And actually, Boulanger does this often. He leaves his Jurgen on the road, and it actually makes his reinforcements susceptible. He's done it actually a few times in the matches we've cast him. He shouldn't die to the counter battery. I don't believe. Oh, never mind.
You were
He scored
saying?
he scored a direct hit right on top of it.
And
So
on top of a infantry transport as well, so that was a double ram. A really good
yep.
slap back here from Nick the Man. So it's definitely going to slow down Boulanger's advance a bit, because yeah, we got infantry inside the town. Only Facatorias, of course, but still, an ATGM is... Oh, Snipe Shot Ito 90! That's...
Yeah, that's a nice pick.
He's starting to pick up a little
Ooh.
bit now. Of course, those M1 mods are still about, but he's managing to destroy a lot of the support.
Yeah, and so in the past couple of minutes here, we've seen a pretty big trade of valuable equipment from both players going down, as I so wrongly predicted about the Jurgen's tragic demise there on the road. So Jurgen, an ITO 90, I believe something else went down right there for Jill and Boulanger, and obviously the two BUs going down for Nick. So heavy blows being exchanged, Rank.
Yep, and we're seeing Nick actually getting right back at it. He's got a T80 UM. It's a super heavy meta here. Nothing above or below 170 points. It is big boy hours, Graham.
No, absolutely. The T80UM, you really don't, I think, see it as much, Rang, as you do the BU, but it's still a 170-point super heavy tank. It has the Invar instead for its missile, and it does have one less frontal armor than the BU. So them and the mod ones should match up really well against each other.
And a nice thing for the ATRM on this map is just you can really take advantage of the ATGMs. Of course, they're not the best anti-tank firepower. I mean, it's good AP, but of course an ATGM has issues compared to a regular tank cannon. And
Right.
with very good micro air from Boulanger, he can back in and out of the smoke to his heart's content.
Yeah, the big advantage now is that he does have two. But we see an SU-25T. There's a Saria up, but there was an evac right there. The A is actually oh no, there it is. The ITO 90 is in the back line. He's pretty far back.
Yeah, he is. I think he
thought
was worried about an ATGM shot like last time.
Yeah. Well, now you see SU-25T is kind of on the prowl here. Just getting one little pick off there. Missile out from the ITO 90. It does miss. So we'll see if Nick noticed it. Popping flares right there.
Yeah, if he can just get recon on those C-72s, he could get some very good hits, but alas, most things are infantry right now, so he's just flying around in circles.
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't see a fighter. Maybe Boulanger's actually trying to save up for it.
And it's getting ROMs instead.
Yeah. Those mods are backing up there, which is smart. You don't want to push in the open with T-72s, and there's an SU-25T circling above, like waiting to just plow through that armor. So, oh, SU-25 is opening up right there. What does it see?
Oh, it's just infantry
Yeah,
transport.
yeah. Yeah, he got it too. Another missile went out there from the ITO 90 and it missed. So they're pretty. It's really slowed down though these past couple minutes here, Rain.
Yeah,
From
it
that.
seems like Boulanger hasn't been able to really seize her initiative from getting
Yeah.
like one of the best pickoffs we've seen in quite a while.
Right.
Like it was Finnish Terminators, our Terminators for a goddamn
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, we call them that for that very reason right there. Killing BUs like that is just that you don't see, especially at this level of skill between the two players. It's so rare to see that kind of engagement happen. Two ROMs are brought up here, like you said, for Boulanger to try and help out with this SU-25T, which is actually ran out of fuel because he's been loitering for so long. But Nick is just kind of like expanding his presence there in the middle ring. He's going to go ahead and cap Foxtrot, and he might even start looking to move down towards Alpha, whereas Boulanger has not been able to follow up on his success and is actually kind of on the back foot here.
Yeah, he definitely still has the ground-based firepower of the two T-72s, but the problem, of course, is, trying to get them into a position to effectively engage the URMs, of course, in a head-on fight or happen, but I think neither side is going to allow it to actually happen realistically, because, well, why use smoke on tanks when you can have mortars just smoke behind you?
Right, yeah, you don't need smoke launchers when the mortar is basically your personal smoke launcher.
That's what they
and
do
it has
in
farther
real
range.
life.
That's what they do in War now, too.
Yeah.
That's Eugen's hit new game, if anybody doesn't know. You can... Yeah, so Nick's actually bringing his K-29 over here towards the middle. There's not much... the ROMs are they're in the heavy forest line, though, so... the K-29 is kind of just pushing up here. There's not really much in front. There's the two recon infantry squads. But I guess I shouldn't say that because the Apilos proved that it'll just blap your tank whenever it feels like it. But these, they're both kind of just... It's like they're dancing with each other a little bit, Rang. They're like tangling off in the middle.
Yeah, I do like how Boulanger's trying to maneuver a little bit up north into Delta here. He's trying to get from a better angle of approach. But of course, the SU-25T is going to make things scary. He just pokes out, shoots, falls back into the forest, and well, the Roms can't really do much right now because they're stuck in the mud.
No, I think a fighter is the better answer to get rid of the SU-25T.
Yes.
Than like ROMs or in the ITO. You want something with range to push it back off your armor. Whereas, he is worried because there is a Tor on the field for Nick. He does have one and it has annihilated this area. But he does have an F-18 in his deck he could try and save up for. And he also has the two MiG-29s. So he could use something. But actually, SU-25T diving in there, get another little pick off. Just small stuff for it so far.
Yeah. Just bringing in an F-18 to shoot down the SU-25 is a worthwhile trade, just economically speaking.
Actually, kind of a missed opportunity here for Boulanger. Well, not necessarily missed because I think he's worried about the SU-25T, but the smoke had gone away for that UN there for about a 5-second period.
Oh, as the F-18?
Yeah, and that's what... Yeah, I figured he was saving up for one or something. Yeah, so the first shot does miss, but that SU-25T immediately having to kind of fall back there a little bit, though. Going to the sides here.
I'm going to evac. I would like evac that guy immediately.
Nick is playing with fire, but maybe he's trying to bait the F-18 over the Tor. That's 100% a possibility here. And Boulanger's kind of like, I'll play your game here. And he knows there's AA there in the middle. And so this is just what happens, Rang, when there's two really high-skill players matching up against each other. It's kind of like little mind games going down.
Yeah, it's just a lot of small dancing back and forth, just a pick off here and there, and especially on a map like this where there's a lot of open ground, it can be quite scary to push. It's not so much a meat grinder, but like a meat slicer. I was trying to think of something
catchy,
equivalent, something catchy, but
slicer. It slices little thin pieces.
Yeah, like little thin pieces of meat.
Like when you go to like the butcher shop, and you get like you get sandwich meat. Yeah.
Exactly. See, it was a very smart analogy.
It took a minute for us to get there, but we accomplished it.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually we see here, both players are now kind of eyeing, I think, towards Alpha a little bit. And I think it's only natural as we've reached, reaching the halfway point in the game And if you're Boulanger, I just don't see how you retake the town anyway right now. Well, these mod M1s, what is he doing? They're rolling up in the front here. He needs to back him up. Yeah, there he goes. I'll say you do not want to get close to the Gonoshoki 90 because they will shred you if you get an ATGM range.
Oh yeah, the Gorn Streckley's. That's... I will really just lock down the town with those Metis missiles.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Medicine just slaps. Yeah, F-18 backup and S-25T backup. It's a game. It's like a game of chicken between the two right now. Just kind of eyeing each other with this battlefield here. Motostrelki are moving towards Alpha, whereas there's Panzari, Shikari, 90 being moved in as well. And I think Boulanger should probably try and shift to Alpha as quickly as possible because Nick is clearly investing a lot of units.
Yeah, Boulanger can really play the forest game to his
Yes.
effect. I mean, he does have the Woodland Elves for his infantry. And
Right.
they just absolutely slap compared to the more standard Soviet counterpart. So he really should be trying to play heavy in Alpha, and then from there, of course, you can use that to fight. Oh! Is that Syria?
The Tor was a one-shot crit on the Syria.
Yeah, it's both Syrias down.
Yeah, that's both dead.
That's
that
bad.
Tor. Yeah, those guys are the best AA crew in Russia.
Yeah, like
damn.
damn.
Yeah, that's a massive pick right there. Both areas are down. Obviously I hadn't necessarily gotten too much value yet in the game, but you really don't want to lose your Sarias for free like that. That hurts big time.
Yeah, especially against the Soviets with so many super heavy tanks to throw at you here. And it seems Nick will be the one making the plane to Alpha, just charging in the mortars directly on foot.
Yeah, they're going in hot right now. He also has a BTR-90, which is an awesome fire support tool to kind of support this push, BTR-T as well. And that's not enough infantry, I think, to stop this push here for him, especially if that BTR-90 can catch those that infantry in the open there. The M1 mods are pushing up, but they're in Metis range, and then they go first rockets out. They're going to get, immediately down to 3 HP. The smoke needs to start falling for him, and it is, but there's going to be some more rockets coming out here. He's vulnerable. He might lose that one. And he does. Yeah, and one mod's gone. And now the one major thing that was holding that center presence for Julian Boulanger, he's already lost half of it.
Yep, and we're seeing a super heavy command, well, not super heavy, but a heavy command tank being brought into Delta here with the T-80 UK, so that role, I mean, that gives Nick the Man the ground-based firepower advantage. We're seeing Boulanger bringing in another Aragon to try and scare off the AT-UM, but we're also seeing counter-fire from Nick.
Yeah, Nick's not scared. He's not scared of the Jurgen trying to hit his T-80 It's just that the Jurgen almost got the ROMs there. Yeah, and so you just see shots being traded by both Jurgens, though this is the second one that Boulanger, like you said, has brought to the field because the first one got blapped. So, and then we see more Yakari 90 getting destroyed in their transports before they can get to the fight here. And I think it's actually looking really rough for Boulanger right now, right?
Yeah, it's definitely with this southern push from Nick the Man. It's just such an effective push. He hasn't really had to kill that much, but just using the mortars directly to, spread them out, spam on through, spot the actual key units, and then he can just bring in the BTR-90 and other fire support to actually do the major damage. And yeah, just having the ground-based fire AT, and also just the SU-25T, he's been using it. Of course he hasn't got many kills with it, but it's been a massive deterrent. It's the reason those M1 mods have not moved out of that smoke. And when they did, it's been bad.
Right, no, absolutely. They moved out and they got destroyed by the ATGMs on the ground. He probably wasn't paying attention. There was counter battery from General Boulanger to try and kill the BM-27 of Nick, but unfortunately for him, he didn't get the direct kill shot. So Nick's BM-27 is alive and well. F-18 up as well for Boulanger once again. I'm not sure why it's so far over there. I guess he's just really scared of the Tor. I don't know, but Command T-72 called out for Boulanger. I'm curious to see where that goes. Maybe Alpha, because I really don't see him being able to successfully counter cap in Delta for very long.
Yeah, Yeah, Delta is pretty much a lost cause at this point, and I mean he can still play for Alpha because you can control little northwestern parts of the forest, but he's also
Right.
bringing in the Charioteers, which seems like a bit of a desperate move.
Yeah, and we see. I mean, Nick honestly, he doesn't even need to push too much more in alpha because he's going to take that CV that he just called out. He's going to put that into it. He has that place pretty much secured. Though there are two XA 185 KTs with the 30 mil Bushmasters in the back line, so that could be really annoying if it catches something important. But as of right now, it's just kind of hard to see how Boulanger gets back in this game.
Yeah, this is a very good defensive line from Nick the Man here. Now Charioteers, trying to do some damage, managed to kill one unit, but even just, I mean, the Facatorias are going to be absolutely deadly against that light armor.
And a big thing, Ray, I want to point out here is Nick is being very aggressive with his T80UM there. And it's always possible he just give an attack order and it went, YOLO, I'm going as far as I can. But I also think is that he knows both areas are gone. And that's just a lot of, anti-tank firepower from the sky that can't threaten his UM. Plus, he's killed an M1 mod. So he just kind of knows his UM isn't it's a lot safer now.
Yeah, and we're actually seeing him actually, I like it, he's moving in the far northern region as well.
Yeah.
Kind of northern region of Delta, I should say. Just a few infantry, but he's going to use that to try and get into the opposing forest where the ROMs are. And as
Yeah.
we can see, there's nothing really ground-based to stop him.
No, this push is going to go. Should be pretty successful for him here. And honestly, it might kind of break the game here because if he can get entrenched in that position, he fires into the immediate reinforcement line for Boulanger. While Boulanger's the entire army is now basically moving towards Alpha. But even that's going to be a hard fight. There's VDV 90, there's Motostroke, there's Gonostroke, there's BTR 90s, there's Skrezits. Like there's a lot there.
Yeah, and he's really relying on these charioteers now to lead the way, and they're actually surviving quite a bit considering the amount of firepower being thrown at them, but still, they're not going to do that much. The infantry are way too dug in. He can't get close because there's just missiles galore.
Oh, and then the KTs actually made their move there, but the smoke coming down last second to cover the BRDM2, and then the Motostroke gets a side shot into it, killing it. It was down to 2 HP, and the Jurgen, which might have been able to finish it off, just shoots at the Gonostroke and the Facatorias instead.
Oh. I was really bloody close here. It could have been a nice little pick-off for Boulanger, but Nick the Man is going to be counter-attacking immediately into Alpha. It's a big infantry blob, and even got an arrogant strike of his own to say hello, Riv.
SU-25T out in the open here, trying to go for a pick there, but it's not able to get anything. He's immediately evac. It does ITO 90, misses all the shots there. SU-24 radar piece up, getting one kill on the ROM there as F-18 now dives in, gets the kill on the SU-24, so the seed goes down, but the infantry push is fully in now, and this T-72 is on the front line against VDV.
Yeah, run away T-72, run away.
Yes, Skrezit even doing some damage to it as well. BRDM2 still alive. More infantry being flooded into Alpha. Another BTR 90. That might be the same one. I might have just not brought that one in there. But this armor being forced to basically evacuate this area from the Spetsnaz VDV Motostroke combo.
Yeah. I'm seeing the UM trying to snipe PM run, but of course the smoke is saving it. And now Boulanger is pretty much pushed up in the corner here between Delta and Alpha. He's doing actually, this could be an effective counterattack into Alpha here to clear up the defensive part of his forest. But it's not like he can really commit too much of an offensive operation through Alpha. He might be able to do a little bit. It's mainly just modest directly recharging. That's scary, but he doesn't have a whole lot of fire support backing him up.
Yeah, there might be a slight timing here that he could hit. The problem is I don't know. There's a K-50 Akula up. There's an SU-25T up. There's more infantry with Mi-8, transport helicopters there to support them as they go in.
This
SU, went way too deep, and there he goes down.
A little bit hot, yeah. He probably hasn't paid himself off in terms of kills, but just in terms of suppression, he's been doing a really bloody good job.
No, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. He was. He's gone now. He's back on the ground. Though we do see the counter cap goes in there from Boulanger by the T-72, which is really damaged. So if a counterattack goes back in for Nick, it's not going to really last that long. But the Jakar United getting caught in the open here, going to Strelky. There's a BTR and BTRT. I mean, it's probably the only move he can make, Rang, but I'm not sure how he's going to be able to translate that into fundamentally changing this game.
Yeah, it is like a slight opening as well, because as we can see, the town between Delta is very empty, but there's 14 minutes, or 15 minutes I should say, on the clock, and Nick has a over, 140th point lead, which is pretty hard to catch up to at this point. And this isn't a map which really rewards so much with +2 point advantages. It's really a +1 grind map.
No, absolutely. It's when you get a +2 for any period of time on Mudfight, you're doing something right, and that's really put Nick in kind of like the driver's seat of this match here. You see the Jurgen now trying to hit that spot, and it's just, I think that was just 5 minutes too late, where he could have killed that BRDM2 command vehicle, and then Nick just kind of playing games with it, backing it up and forward and reverse.
Yeah, and Nick has managed to re-garrison the all-important town with more Factorias and Gorna Strackley, so no one is coming within a real, 2-kilometer radius of that area.
Yeah, and it's just, and that's there was a, like you talked about earlier, Rain. There was a timing he could have got in there. We with the God Vision, we can truly see it. So maybe Boulanger just didn't know it was truly that empty. But it just feels like everything's been a little too late for him the whole game. Like he got the massive 2 BU kills, but then couldn't quite follow it up. He does clear the town, but then he doesn't quite have enough to actually get in there himself and change the pace of the match.
Yep, and we're seeing Nick put a little bit of pressure through Delta here, just his small infantry pushes into the opposing forest. It's not really gaining control of that forest, but he's just kind of, forcing BS fights over here, which could be, happening down south.
Yeah, because any minute, anything that keeps Boulanger from truly counterattacking in Alpha is good for Nick, right? Because it just continues to allow him to pad his lead. Because that's really, I think, the only place that Boulanger could make success. The middle's blocked off by the T80UM plus the town being filled with ATGMs. And then, so Alpha's just basically where he has to go, but I don't think he has the firepower to evict him fully.
That's just way too much stuff, and none of it is, super crazy stuff. It's just some... Okay, the BTRTs are pretty damn good, but it's just too much just fire support here. And as you can see, Boulanger just doesn't have that much.
And no AA up here either, so the MI8 just shredding those Panzer Jakari, just absolutely annihilating them. The KT's getting hit there too. Yeah, those 122mm rockets are so nasty.
Oh, they might as well be anti-tank rockets, really.
Yeah, they do massive damage. Jurgen strike going in on the ITO 90, just barely missing it, but it does cause to get panicked.
Mm-hmm.
Make more rounds going out too.
Seen more charioteers trying to do some cavalry attacks, but they're just not going to be able to really do that much. The ATGMs from the town makes it hard. And ATUM is just completely zoning off Delta, of course. It's really just... It's mapped... Part of this match has just been a battle of zoning out, and of course USSR on open ground with all the ATGMs are goddamn nasty. Especially with, a deck such as Finpo, where you don't really have that many great ATGMs. You're really relying more on the tank cannons.
Yeah, he just hasn't been able to get good tank engagements. I mean, the BUs went down to the finished Terminators, right? Not to any of the armor. So that's been kind of a problem for him. He hasn't been able to really capitalize on some of the strengths of his deck. Like the infantry fight you talked about earlier, in theory, we would think in Alpha that would be more suitable terrain for his deck. But with all the Soviet support equipment being brought to bear here, there's just not enough combined arms, I think, for Boulanger to break that position.
Yeah, and he does have a decent force in the Delta Forest, some medium tanks, a decent amount of infantry, but it's going to be a very costly battle if he does move out, which he is going to be doing right now. And it's just going to be a Pyrrhic victory if he does manage to actually route out Nick DeMann into Alpha.
Yeah, we see the attack going in here now. The KT getting in. The Strez is going to push up and try and take it out. Sappers opening up here as the infantry comes in. There's still some MI8s he could bring up here to kill this infantry because those 122s will shred. There we go. Yep, first one's coming out there, and the Chikari just goes from 17 to 8 in literally no time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely nasty. Emerald Mod's pushing up now. The Wilk. I mean, he might as well just send it all and hope they can break the position. But there's an Akula that can swing over. There's more VDV coming. T-72As coming, which up close and personal here are more than capable of buying Nick the time he needs to cement his victory.
Yeah, and we've seen that M1 mod also move up as well. And that is not the best position for that tank to be in, because it is a very, you know, it's, oh god, it's in real massive danger, because he's almost out of fuel of it. And there's VDV-90 closing in.
Yeah, there's VDV-90 on the backside of Alpha, too, going into the back line there from Nick, being a little cheeky with that. I'm not sure if he'll make it anywhere, but it's a threat. But yeah, that M1 mod might run out of gas. Yeah, Boulanger needs to bring the supply trucks right up to him. Oh, a tank going down right there. Was that the Wilk? Yeah, Wilk goes down. I think the VDV or maybe the T-72 got a shot. Oh no, the Akula I think did it. Excuse me.
Yeah, the Akula's been here the entire time, but he hasn't really shown his... Well, he's been on the battlefield, but he hasn't really shown his face till now. It's just a good little reserve unit that Nick can just pull in.
The ITO-90 died at some point. I didn't even see it go down. So there's no AA whatsoever over here for General Boulanger. So, yeah, his armor needs to stay in the forest, or it's just going to instantly get annihilated, right?
Yeah, and up north, Nick has made really good progress up here. He's moving up the UM. He's pretty much got Delta completely under control. He's really also going hard with the Tor. This is, yeah, pretty clearly a GG for Nick the Man getting the victory here.
Tell that the game's nearing its conclusion, right? Like this last little bunch of Baltic troops kind of holding on here as the as the Soviets push in. I mean, T-72A's up here at the front. I mean, that mod M1, he's holding it down right there, but it's actually doing battle with the T-72A up close and personal. That's super funny. You don't see that very often. The T-72 is going to get blapped.
Yeah, he's pretty much a pillbox.
Yeah. Yeah, Skrezit rolling up. The Flamers trying to get him. They're doing everything they can to kill that mod M1, but some more Jurgen shots coming out right there for both players, and I think GG was called.
Yeah, GG indeed. Not that bad in the KD difference, really, especially towards the end. Only a 700, 800 point-ish difference.
Yeah, I think the last couple of minutes really went in Nick's favor.
No, it was pretty interesting, because I honestly expected Boulanger to kind of win that with that initial, like, it's such a crazy trade. Like, yeah, it's such a huge advantage one can get very early on, but he completely squandered the opportunity, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he was just maybe a little too slow, too indecisive. I'm not quite sure. You know what I mean? Obviously, Boulanger's a great player at the game, one of the best at it, but there was a massive opportunity, because if you tell anybody, if you snipe an opening 2 BUs in the first 5 minutes of the game, almost everyone's going to tell you that game's over. It's done. Like, that's so much firepower, so many points invested, and Nick just shows how good he is. Was able to get the win there.
Yeah, I think it's also a good showcase of like a very standard USSR player, where you can actually use those super heavy units from airplanes, tanks, artillery, etc. effectively, because he managed to use all the superpower, high-tech Soviet super weapons, whatever fancy gear, to his advantage, and apart from the BUs, kept them alive.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, it was just but besides those BUs, I think Nick played an extremely clean game. He got a little RNG on his side too, right? The game sniping the Jurgen, the Tor killing both areas. Like, I mean, that's just, Tors are really good, but that many hits, sometimes it's kind of like, wow, like that AA crew was really on their shit right there. So it's just some of that plays into it, but overall just really clean, and was able to just kind of dictate the course of the fight outside those 2 BUs the whole game.
Indeed. And once again, thank you very much for joining as usual, Mr. Graham.
As always, yes sir.
And for you the viewer at home, thank you for watching. And as usual, please just take it easy.